Imagine utterly captivating one king that he would go against his country, religion, and advisors to make you queen. Young, charming, and intelligent, Anne Boleyn rose from an insignificant position at court to the throne of Queen of England. But her reign would be tragically short-lived. Today, we're diving into Anne's story, the rise of a queen, her shocking fall, and the legacy she left behind. Anne Boleyn was born in 1501 to an aspiring noble family. Partly brought up in the sophisticated courts of the Netherlands and France, Anne was educated in the art of courtly charm, intelligence, and diplomacy. Her return to England in her 20s featured a courtier who was different, a bright and beautiful woman. The lovely lady soon caught the eye of Henry Percy at the English court, but soon enough, someone far more powerful took notice: King Henry VIII himself. Anne had something that King Henry's previous lovers did not: the will to refuse him. She wouldn't be satisfied with being a mistress. If Henry wanted her, he would have to make her his queen. Henry was smitten. Anne was sure of herself, clever and forthright, an unheard-of combination at the court. She was challenging, rebuffed his advances, and let him know that nothing less than marriage would do. The pursuit then became an obsession with Henry. He sent her love letters, poems, and gifts galore. But there was one problem. Henry was already married to Catherine of Aragon. Catherine, who was popular with the people and devoted to Henry, had borne him only one daughter, Mary. Henry wanted a male heir very badly, and he saw Anne as the woman who could provide that for him. Whereas Henry was supposed to wed Anne, he had to divorce Catherine, and the Pope disallowed him to do so. Henry got angry and took a dangerous step. He would separate himself from the Catholic Church and establish the Church of England. At Anne's persuasion, Henry performed the unprecedented act. The course of English history was forever doomed. Henry finally married Anne in 1533, and she was crowned Queen of England. Anne had done what little else could or had ever thought possible. She had run the gamut from being a courtier to the highest rank a woman could achieve, standing beside Henry as the Protestant Reformation swept through England. Anne's only role as queen was to bear Henry the son he desperately needed. When a girl named Elizabeth was born in September of 1533, Henry was disappointed enough, but still hopeful his wife would continue to bear him children. All the same, the burden was a heavy one for Anne. Influential people at court, such as Thomas Cromwell, advisor to the king, and partisans of Catherine, began to bear hostile feelings toward her because of her rising influence in the court. Her hot spirit and sharp tongue had the effect of earning Anne many enemies among the nobility. She became pregnant several more times, but none yielded a male heir. By 1536, Henry's passions for Anne had cooled, and he began pursuing one of Anne's ladies-in-waiting, Jane Seymour. Anne saw her grip on Henry begin to weaken and became desperate, but everything she did to try to regain his favor made matters worse. Meanwhile, Cromwell found an opportunity in setting Henry against her. Cromwell contrived a network of accusations, charging Anne with adultery, incest, and even treason. Unprecedented in the case of a queen, charges were placed upon rumor and testimony from courtiers who had much to gain from Anne's fall. Anne's trial was a sham. She was accused of crimes that, by today's standards, did not have much substantial evidence. The court was biased, and the verdict of her guilt was largely decided in the minds of the judges. She was condemned to death, which was a judgment that did not merely rob her of her life, but sealed the tragic end of what had once been a phenomenal rise to greatness. Anne was taken to the Tower on May 19, 1536. She was beheaded by sword, a final act that Henry granted as a mercy, avoiding the usual method of burning. Anne met her death with elegance, saying supposedly, "I pray God save the king and send him long to reign over you." Thus, her life came to a sad end, leaving behind a daughter who would one day become Queen Elizabeth I. Anne lived a short life, but her legacy can be none too real. By encouraging Henry's break from the Catholic Church, she set the stage for the English Reformation, an alteration that would resonate across centuries. Her daughter, Elizabeth, went on to become one of England's greatest monarchs, a testament to the resilience and strength that Anne had come to typify. Anne, in time, had been re-evaluated by historians. What once was painted as a manipulator now became a woman who dared challenge her lot in life, who used her intelligence and charisma to rise above her station. Anne Boleyn remains a symbol to this very day of ambition, resilience, and the tragic consequences one has to face navigating the treacherous waters of the Tudor court. Anne Boleyn's tale is one of ambition, love, betrayal, and power, a story that even to this day appears to move people. What do you think? Was Anne Boleyn the victim of dog-eat-dog politics of her time, or a woman before her time whose challenges to the norms would be her downfall? Let us know in the comments below. If you are interested in stories about historical figures who changed the course of history, subscribe. We shall continue telling the stories of those who dared leave a mark on this world.